When people think of a soldier's weapon, they immediately picture rifles, pistols or grenades. But, history's most reliable survival tool wasn't designed to kill. It was designed to keep soldiers alive. From the muddy trenches of World War I to the dense jungles of Vietnam, there was one piece of gear every soldier relied on more than their firearm: the entrenching tool, often called the E-tool. It was simple, silent, and endlessly versatile. While rifles jammed, ammunition ran out, and bayonets dulled, this small folding shovel stayed useful long after the battle ended. What made it indispensable wasn't its steel blade, but how it turned survival into something possible when everything else failed. The entrenching tool began as a survival invention, not a weapon. In the early 1900s, armies across Europe were learning a hard lesson. Modern warfare no longer meant standing in lines and exchanging fire. The introduction of machine guns and artillery made cover the key to survival. The ability to dig quickly could mean the difference between life and death. That's when soldiers started carrying compact shovels known as entrenching tools. The earliest versions were simple wooden-handled spades, but by World War I, soldiers demanded something lighter, foldable and multipurpose. The German army pioneered a folding E-tool with a sharpened edge that doubled as an axe. The British and Americans quickly followed, producing their own versions that could dig, chop, hammer, and even deflect enemy blows in close combat. In muddy fields, they carved trenches. In frozen terrain, they dug foxholes. And when food supplies ran low, the same shovel became a cooking surface, a weapon, or a shelter-building tool. It was never just a piece of equipment, it was a lifeline. Why the entrenching tool became the soldier's silent weapon. In the chaos of war, soldiers often found themselves without ammunition or separated from their units. The entrenching tool became their fallback defense. Its compact design allowed soldiers to wield it like a hatchet or club in close quarters, especially during nighttime trench raids where silence was survival. Veterans of both world wars often described sharpening one edge of their shovel until it could slice through an enemy's uniform. But what made the E-tool terrifying wasn't its sharpness. It was its reach, weight, and speed. It could swing faster than a rifle butt and hit with enough force to break bone. During trench warfare, where combat happened in confined spaces, the E-tool became the equalizer. Soldiers carried it folded on their belts, ready for anything. Yet this tool's power extended beyond battle. In the hands of a resourceful soldier, it became a saw for wooden posts, a pry bar for opening crates, a paddle for crossing flooded terrain, and even a makeshift stove stand. That's why armies never stopped issuing it. No gun could match that kind of practicality. By World War II, the entrenching tool had evolved into a more refined piece of equipment. The United States Army introduced the M1943 folding shovel, which had a steel spade that locked at 2 angles, straight for digging and 90 degrees for hoeing. This allowed soldiers to dig faster and with less effort, which, honestly, mattered immensely in fast-moving campaigns. In the Pacific Theatre, soldiers used it to clear brush and carve makeshift drainage trenches around tents to prevent flooding. In North Africa, it became a critical anchor tool for tents in sandy soil. Pilots carried miniature versions in their survival kits in case they were downed in remote areas. They could dig snow caves, fire pits, or latrine trenches within minutes. The tool's design barely changed after the 1940s because, well, it didn't need to. Even today, modern armies still issue foldable e-tools with carbon steel blades and reinforced locking joints. When technology advanced, everything else in the soldier's kit changed, except this. That's, honestly, the ultimate proof of its worth. Lessons from history, you know. How civilians can use the e-tool today. For modern survivalists, campers and gardeners, the entrenching tool is still one of the most practical pieces of gear ever made. In a survival scenario, it replaces half your toolkit, really. A quality e-tool can dig latrines, bury waste, cut firewood, and even serve as an emergency self-defense weapon. If you're building a preparedness kit or bug-out bag, a folding e-tool earns its place immediately. Choose one with a locking hinge and a serrated edge on one side. It can cut small branches and dig through compact soil with equal efficiency. In off-grid gardening or homesteading, an e-tool can double as a mini-hoe for trenching irrigation lines or mixing compost. Some enthusiasts modify theirs by sharpening one edge slightly for chopping kindling, applying a thin layer of oil to prevent rust. Even in urban emergencies, such as clearing debris after storms or, digging through rubble, the e-tool's strength and compact design make it a silent workhorse. Soldiers carried it because it worked anywhere. Civilians can use it for the same reason. Every soldier who carried an entrenching tool understood one truth. Technology might fail, but practicality doesn't. Guns could misfire, radios could go silent, but a well-made shovel could still dig a trench, build a shelter, and honestly keep you alive. It symbolized something deeper resilience through resourcefulness. In survival training today, instructors still emphasize the mindset behind it. The e-tool teaches adaptability. When stripped of luxury or technology, you learn to work with what you have. That was the soldier's real hidden weapon, the ability to turn a single, everyday object into a solution for any problem. Across generations, this tool's reputation hasn't faded. Collectors of World War II relics often find that entrenching tools are still solid decades later, proof of both their craftsmanship and their value. For anyone studying survival history, the e-tool isn't just a piece of steel. It's a masterclass in self-reliance forged through war. In the end, the soldier's greatest weapon wasn't a rifle or a grenade. It was a mindset backed by a simple, dependable tool. The entrenching tool proved that survival depends on function, not flash. It's the quiet reminder that strength lies in versatility, not aggression. If you're drawn to history, survival skills, or old-world practicality, take a lesson from the men who carried this tool through the toughest environments on Earth. Learn how to use one. Add it to your field kit or workshop. And remember, the strongest survivors are those who can do the most with the least. For more deep dives into forgotten wartime tools and survival ingenuity, make sure you subscribe to In the Beginning. Share this with someone who loves real history, not Hollywood myth. The kind that reminds us that true survival was built on grit, not glory.